Hi, Stephan Smith of Artsmith Craftworks. It's getting kind of close to the holidays, this being the beginning of October, and that always turns my mind to what kinds of things can we do for the holidays coming up. I like the holidays, I like the ornamentation of it, I like the decoration of it, and I've certainly incorporated my share of steampunk elements into my own home decor and made those suggestions for other people. What I like to do is make my own steampunk Christmas ornaments, and being that I do the steampunk airships on a larger scale, I thought, why not do that for ornamentation? I'm sure there's lots of stuff out there that show ideas for making steampunk ornaments, but this is my take on it, and so let me show you what I do. So like I said, I tend to do ornaments that have something to do with steampunk, particularly the airships that I do. And so I will often start with just these paper mache ornaments that you can get at the craft store. I actually wanted to do a bunch of these, so I ordered them from the company in the Philippines that produces them, and I ordered a whole box of them, a whole case of them. So I have a lot to start with. But you can get these straight six-sided ornaments. Then you can get ones that have kind of a twist to them. Those also have 6 panels, 6 faces, and those look really neat. I've used these before as well. They're much rounder and stubbier, obviously, so I don't use those for airships as much as I use them for like a steampunk hot air balloon. I actually messed around for a while trying to figure out how I could completely build these myself using scrap fiberboard, and you can. I mean, I kind of came up with a method for doing it. But in all honesty, it takes too long. It's not a time-effective thing to do. And I love to repurpose, and I love to recycle, and I love to reuse stuff that's already laying around. But there comes a point where you say, you know, when it takes an hour to make one of these that I can pay less than $1 for, it's really not worth my time. So what I do is I give them a base coat of color. Often it's if I'm painting silver, I'll give it a base coat of gray, like a medium to light gray. If I am going to put copper color on them, then I will start with often an orange. And if I'm going to do gold, I'll start with a base of yellow. It's just a way to kind of block in some base reflective pigment on an otherwise craft paper brown object. So then after that dries, then I'll go ahead and put the color that I want on there. And this one's a little further along than I would ordinarily show you, but you can see how I've done the gold color on that, and then I've added rivets to it. I put end pieces in that are really just little pieces of wooden dowel about the same diameter as one of those cleaning swabs that you can buy, like they have a long stick to them and have the Q-tippy end to it. And so I use about that diameter. On the nose, I'll often round it off a little bit so that it's not square and blunt. I'll put a bead on there sometimes. I'll put some little jewels on there, and that becomes the base for the rest of the airship. Here's one that I've done in silver that has the straight sides, and then here's one that's in copper that is the hot air balloon. And you can see that one's, I put like a little sequin on the sides as well as the little rivets. I try to make the rivets contrasting in some way, so these little rivets are silver. Okay. Then what I wind up doing, and I don't really have a finished airship gondola to show you, but I'll show you one of the finished hot air balloons. What I've done here is I've taken, I use an awl, you know what I'm talking about, AWL, awl. It's like the thing you can poke holes in stuff with, whether it's leather or metal or whatever. And I'll use that to put a little hole kind of in the center where I want the hanging wire to go. And just a little hole, and then I'll bend some copper wire. You can get different colors of copper wire. You can actually get aluminum wire that's been anodized to look like copper. I don't like that as much, it's too soft. But you can get a lot of different copper wire. I just get like a 20 gauge copper wire, and I bend a wire that's long enough to come down to what I've used as a gondola. What I've used as a gondola is a piece of paper tube. How many things have paper tubes as their cores? Lots of stuff. So I tend to save that stuff and use it. I just cut it at the length that I want. I'll glue a piece of fiberboard, think t-shirt cardboard or cereal box cardboard or that kind of thing. I'll just glue that to the bottom of it and cut it out in a nice little circle and then paint it whatever color. Again, punch a little hole. Oh, I'm holding it off camera, sorry. And then punch a little hole, like I said, tube, bottom, put a little hole in there, and then bend the ends of the wire and stick that in and kind of get it all lined up right. You can use whatever you want for like the little nozzle where the hypothetical hot air would go up into the balloon. I've used little pieces of plastic tube, but you could use another little diameter paper tube as well and just paint that whatever fun colors you want. I tend to put craft beads or something on the gondola wires just for a little bit of ornamentation. I mean, we are talking about a holiday ornament, right? And then on the top, you're going to have to take a little piece of bent wire with a loop at the end, and I always put a bead on there too, and then super glue that into the top, and that's where your hanging loop or your hanging wire will attach. And as you can see, it makes a nice little steampunky or Victorian looking hot air balloon. I do something similar on the airships, so you can kind of use your imagination as to how that goes, but you can build gondolas out of those, out of marker barrels or pieces of paper tube slit in half long ways, or even something solid like wooden dowels or pieces of pencil. I mean, anything could make a really cool little airship gondola that would that would hang down in the same way with wires in particular places. And you'll have to kind of work out on one of these twisted ones. One of the wires can attach on the seam, but the other one will have to attach kind of in the middle of this panel here in order to be level. On the ones that are straight across like this, that's not a problem. You can just put them right in the seam, and then you can cut little cardboard fins, and I usually do, since this is a 6-sided thing, I'll usually do one on the top and one on each of the other third divider seams. And you can make those whatever shape you want, whatever floats your boat. And, oh, fumbled that. That's why I don't play football. And here's a different one. Here's a gold one. Don't forget to put your little piece of dowels into the ends for the nose cone. But then you can cut like a little propeller, a little paper propeller, and put on the end of that. That's really what that's for. Again, I use a bead on the front and in the back, and that makes that really a little bit more ornamented. I put the little gemstones. You can use sequins. You can use, just about anything you can think of. You could even use like little chunks of colored stone, whatever, to give that some ornamentation. And then your colored or painted fins on the back in whatever shape that you really like. Something Victorian, something square, whatever is cool to you. Anyway, that's kind of what I do for my steampunk ornaments. Let me know what ideas you've had, what things that you've done, and drop me a line in the comment box. I'd appreciate it if you'd like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll be seeing you soon.